Chang'an is an important ancient capital of the past dynasties, and it is also built here in the Western Zhou dynasty, Wenwu Chengkong, and even in the Qin, Han, Sui and Tang dynasties, and is one of the 6 ancient capitals in China. The car is like a flowing water and a horse is like a dragon, and the lights of thousands of homes are shining until dawn, which is still the best portrayal of Chang'an City. Of course, such a prosperous ancient capital must be indispensable: restaurants, brothels, casinos, juggling. It is everything. This extravagant and flashy appearance is famous all over the country, and it is no wonder that people are complicated. And these are not enough. The popular one is none other than Yang Yehuan's walking pond. This is both a sad and a reverie of history. The spring cold baths in walking pool, the hot spring water is slippery and creamy. How many couples want to come here to try the delicate tenderness, and Xiaoding is no exception. She also takes the little evil to swim in walking pool. The spring breeze blows the face and is fragrant, the willows are light and busy, the green water is soft and the waves reflect the curved bridge, and the past lovers are like the Mackerel River, but unfortunately they have not been able to see the peerless beauty Yang Guifei again. Xiaoxie walked in 3 steps and 2 steps, swaying like walking around Beijing, and even a bit of a thief. In this walking pond, he is the most earthy, the most unamorous, the most temperamental, but the most fun hillbilly. Xiaoxie stared at the pedestrians for a long time, and finally found a problem. He said, "Xiaoding, what kind of place is this? There are so many people. The strange thing is that they are all holding hands. It is quite like this." Xiaoding Jiao said with a smile, "This is Yang Guifei's walking pond. You see that there is a big restaurant on the left, that is where Yang Guifei lived back then." She pointed to a palace building on the left and said, "It's a forbidden area, we can't go, and this is a big courtyard, maybe there are too many people, and the government can't control it, so it's open, and those people are here to mourn Yang Yehuan." The little evil shouted, "What does it matter what he raises Yehuan twice? I can play cards 18 times at a time without saying a word, and his grandmother's Yang is so vigorous. He doesn't look forward to Yang Guifei, a great beauty. What is the surname?" Xiaoding laughed when he heard it, and the little evil actions along the way have made Xiaoding laugh so hard that the corners of his mouth are sour. Xiaoxie glared at Xiaoding and shouted, "What are you laughing at? I didn't deceive you, I stretched out my hand." He had stretched out his right hand to shake Xiaoding Ruoyi. Xiaoding Qi said, "Little evil, what are you doing?" Xiaoxie shouted, "Xiaoding, everyone else is holding hands, we also have to hold hands to meet the rules." Xiaoding blushed when he heard this and said, "No need for Xiaoxie, they are all couples or lovers, I." Before the words were finished, his face was already red. The little evil man smiled, "Pretend, what are you not my lover? Even if you don't, I have to borrow it, and I'll return you after shopping." Without waiting for Xiaoxie to agree, he took Xiaoding's left hand and walked towards the crowd. Xiaoding wanted to get rid of it, but he didn't get rid of it once, and he was embarrassed to shake it again, letting the little evil go everywhere, so embarrassed that he couldn't even speak, but his heart was full of sweet dreams, and he was incomparably happy. There are only a few small hot springs, and the other larger pools are not hot springs, and the red carp and black trout in the pools swim leisurely, frolicking and chasing, and the atmosphere is peaceful. Xiaoxie looked at the pool and became interested for a while. Xiao Ding, how about we catch a few fish to roast? Xiaoxie is not a sassy ink man, nor is he a famous son. He doesn't know how to appreciate flowers and things, taste tea and play the moon. He wants to do it there. What is new and what to do? It doesn't matter what others think, as long as he is happy. Xiao Ding is different. She knows more about these elegant things, and she can be said to be a middle and high master. She was also slightly surprised by this kind of evil thing. She exclaimed, "Little evil, don't mess around. There are so many people here. It's strange that you don't get laughed to death by others when you mention it like this." The little evil shouted, "What's so funny about this? Catch the fish and catch the fish. What are they laughing at?" He thought that the fish was meant to be caught, and catching fish was originally a very common thing, but he didn't expect the place to be different. Xiao Ding hurriedly said, "These people are here to enjoy the scenery. By the way, to mourn Yang Gaifei, this beauty, that is like you are here to catch fish. You can do a good way to release the fish." Xiao Ding is really afraid of Xiaoxie's temper when he thinks of it. Even if he uses soft Xiaoxie, he may not be willing to eat. She knows Xiaoxie's mind, no one can guess it. Maybe even Xiaoxie himself can't guess himself. She has to pretend to be pitiful to win Xiaoxie's sympathy. Xiaoxie originally wanted to show that he was very good in front of Xiao Ding, especially the kung fu of catching fish empty-handed, who knew that Xiao Ding was so evil that he didn't have to perform. He was disappointed and said, "What the fuck? What are you doing? These people don't even mention the scenery when they look at the fish. They are fake orangutans." Xiao Ding shouted, "Little evil, why do you always talk foul language? So ugly." Xiaoxie glanced at Xiao Ding and said, "I want to ask you this. The scolding words should be good. You say come and listen to it. I have never heard the scolding words in most of my life." Xiao Ding felt speechless when she was asked like this. The scolding words were not good, and she also gave Ding Xiao a glance and shouted, "Then you won't stop scolding." Xiaoxie shouted, "Don't scold people, okay? If you don't scold people, I'll beat people." He didn't have to go into the water to beg for performance, and now Xiao Ding added fuel and vinegar. He was a little angry with someone, so he picked up a small pebble casually, threw it into the distance, and immediately turned his head and pretended to be nothing. Bing Ground reacted immediately, only to hear a man's angry voice not far away, "Fuck, what are you doing? Who is throwing stones?" Xiaoxie laughed when he heard the man's scolding. The previous depression had been swept away, and he smiled proudly. "Xiao Ding, listen, what he said is not the same, he." He finally found a peer to refute Xiao Ding's lesson, and he felt extremely excited in his heart. Xiao Ding didn't expect that Xiaoxie's words would come true, and the scolding words were all hard to hear. For a while, she didn't know how to answer Xiaoxie. She said quietly, "But I'm not used to listening to it." Xiaoxie patted Xiao Ding on the shoulder, and said like a boss teaching the second child, "Slowly you will get used to it." In his tone, he felt that it was normal for him to say foul language, and it was up to Xiao Ding to get used to it. In fact, teenagers like Xiao Evil are just a little adult, and they want to learn from adults in everything, plus they don't read much of Little Evil books, so it's very common to talk about foul language. As I grow older, I gradually mature and speak more and more subtly, so I can naturally avoid saying foul language. Then again, if people don't speak foul language in the rivers and lakes, they will lose their style, they will not be in the stream, and they will not be able to mix up any big names. Of course, this refers to the heroes of the Green Forest, like some Shaolin monks, Wudang real people and decent people, which cannot be compared. When the little evil is proud of his deeds and throws stones. By this time he had found this fun game, and from time to time he threw it at the couples who came and went. Hee hee ha! A girl's cry for help could be heard in the distance. Xiaoxie shouted, "Wow, here comes another little ding." He pointed out that last time Xiao Ding was also in the Black Town to call for help. Xiao Ding experienced it herself, she knew the mood of this situation, and she hurriedly said, "Little evil, let's go over and take a look." With that, she ran to the pronunciation. The little evil smiled bitterly and swept up. I heard a man's voice very soft, "Little pump girl, don't run, my young master just wants to be friends with you, how about you give you a face?" "No, don't let me go!" the woman cried out. "Little pump girl, my young master is blessed to take a fancy to you, you don't know what to do, be obedient, otherwise you will suffer." A young man smiled lewdly and said, "Ah Fu Bei scared my heart and liver." The woman cried out, "Let me go, help!" The little evil ran but arrived first. I saw that the girl was about 17 or 8 years old, dressed in a white shirt and skirt, with a knotted hair, and a small but beautiful face. The girl was being forcibly held in the right hand by a young man in his 20s, in a blue shirt, of medium build, with a row head and a minion look, and behind him stood a weak-crowned young man, about 17 or 8 years old, tall and thin, in a purple shirt, wearing a beautiful hat, with suitable facial features, and was called handsome, but he was fat and powdery, and his hands were constantly stirring with a cloud fan, and his mouth was smiling, and his eyes were evil, and he looked at the girl in the white shirt with evil eyes.